What does it mean if someone has epilepsy?
Hi, I'm Cesar, and today we're going to talk about electricity. There are so many things in our world that use electricity. Our lights and our phones and our computers, anything you plug in uses electricity. There's also electricity in our natural world. Lightning is a big burst of electricity. You know what else runs on electricity? Anything that requires batteries.
Batteries come in all shapes and sizes, but they all do the same thing. They create electric current that helps power things like flashlights and toys and cars.
But the greatest thing that runs on electricity? People. That's right. You run on electricity and I run on electricity. Everybody has a battery right inside our skull.
Everything we do, eat and sleep and even breathe, starts as electricity inside our brain. And then our brain uses that electricity to send a message to our body through our spine to tell our organs what to do.
Can you feel these bumps right here on your back? That's your spine. Can you do this with your hands? Can you wiggle your body? You can do that because my words went in through your ears and your eyes to your brain, and your brain sent electricity to your body and told it to move. Super cool, huh? You know what else is cool about our brains? Everybody's brain is different. My brain is different from your brain. That's why we probably like different things, even in our own families. Maybe you like to draw and your brother or your sister doesn't. Or maybe you're good at math and your brother or sister isn't. That's because each of you has your own special brain. Some people, like me, have brains that sometimes make too much electricity. And when that happens, the brain sends that electricity into our bodies, and our bodies have to find something to do with it. This is called a seizure. When someone has a seizure, all kinds of different things might happen. They might blink their eyes really fast, or they might just stop and stare and not say anything, or sometimes they fall down and get right back up, or sometimes they fall down and the extra electricity makes their body move in certain unusual ways. When a person has seizures because of how their brain works, this is called epilepsy. I am an epileptic, just like thousands of other people in the world. Sometimes people who have epilepsy feel embarrassed, don't really want other people to know, but we can't really help how our brains are made, so you shouldn't be afraid to tell people if you want to. Also, having epilepsy can be scary. I feel scared when I have a seizure. And my family feels scared if they see me have a seizure, but most of the time I don't feel any different than anybody else. Because I'm not. Only when my brain is making too much electricity. Otherwise, I'm just the same as everybody. Most people who have epilepsy, like me, are born with it. But sometimes people can have seizures because they hit their head really hard. That's why you should always wear a helmet.
Each and every time you ride your bike with your friends, or you go to the park with your scooter, or you're kicking it at the skate park, you should wear a helmet and protect that noggin and your very special one-of-a-kind brain, because
a really big crash can make you have seizures for your whole life. I always know the super smarty brainiac kids in my neighborhood because they have their helmets on.
what should I do if someone has a seizure?
When you see someone have a seizure, there are some things you can do for them and some very important things that you should never do. First, call for an adult to help you. Next, see if there's something around the person that you need to move out of the way because they might hurt themselves on it. Also, if you see something that might fall on the person and you can move it, that's a good idea too. You can also put something under the person's head and turn them on their side if you can. Next, if you don't know the person has epilepsy, you should call 911. If you do know the person has epilepsy or a seizure disorder, you can wait 5 minutes before you call 911. That's really all you can do for someone when they're having a seizure. There are 2 things you should never do when you see someone have a seizure. First, you should never hold them down. Remember, this is energy coming from their brains, and you're not going to stop that energy by holding down their bodies. You might hurt their arm or their leg or something, though. Something else you should never do, and this is going to sound silly, you should never put something in somebody's mouth when they're having a seizure. In old-timey days, people used to think that was a good idea because they were worried that people would bite off their tongues when they were having a seizure. You do bite your tongue when you're having a seizure, but we know now that you're not going to bite it off. Unfortunately, there are some people who still think that that's the right thing to do. Boomers. But it's not a good idea. You can knock out the person's teeth or choke them or even get your fingers bitten. Oh, that's right. Oscar just reminded me. Pets can have seizures too. Their brain sends electricity through their bodies in the same way. So you might have a pet that has epilepsy. He likes treats. Good boy. The best thing you can do for someone who has epilepsy is be kind. Remember, they're just as smart and special as you.